Okay, we're just going to try this is going to be the maiden voyage of my how-to video series, and this one is going to be on Google Docs. We're starting today with going to the google.ca homepage, and to access your Google Docs, simply click Sign In, and your email is your username. For the Huntington Park School domain, it's always at huntingtonparkschool.com. So that's email. And password, chocolate chip cookies, don't tell anybody. And sign in, of course. It's capital chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so once I've logged in, nothing really looks any different. But what it does is it gives you access to these tools here at the top. You can poke about on your own. A lot of them you've probably already used, Google Search, Google Images. You might even have used Gmail before in a calendar, and some other neat things here. Google Translate is fun. But I want to focus today mostly on Google Docs. Used to be called Docs, it's now called Drive. So if I click on Drive, and the neat thing about Drive is that whereas it used to be that you could only create and store Google documents, now you can store any kind of document. I can store PDFs, I can store videos, I can store MP3s, I can store literally anything, zip files, whatever. So what this does is if you upload something to Google Docs, let's say I have this file here I just dragged off my desktop. It's a MIDI file. I simply drag it in here, drag and drop, and it will upload it. It's not going to convert it to a Google Docs format. And start upload, and you see it there, and I now have a MIDI file for One by U2 stored in my Google Docs. It's that easy. So you don't need to worry about, oh, I forgot my flash drive at home, or I forgot my flash drive at school. Everything you store here in the cloud is accessible anywhere in the world at any time. In Google Docs, you can create basically anything that you can create with Microsoft Office. Create document creates basically a Word kind of document. If you've ever gotten one of those docx files and thought to yourself, gee, I'm still using an older version of Microsoft Office, you can upload it to Google Docs. It will open the docx file. So you can create and modify Microsoft Office documents. You don't have quite the range of fonts, but you can add fonts. So more limited range of fonts, more limited range of options. So it is kind of a simplified version, but you can create documents. I'm going to come back to that because I want to show you something else. I can also create a presentation a la PowerPoint. If you use PowerPoint, you can even upload your PowerPoint file, and edit it in Google Docs. You can start it in Google Docs and continue it in PowerPoint. It's as if you have Microsoft Office in your web browser. Compatibility is not 100% all the time, but it's really excellent 99% of the time. You can create a spreadsheet, and you get something that looks a lot like Excel. Okay. The neat thing about the spreadsheet is that you have actually, this is more powerful than Microsoft Office for sorting, because you can sort them by 2 criteria at a time. And you can create a drawing, which is fun to play around with, and that's nothing. This is neat though, a form. You can create an online survey. Simply add questions, and if you've ever seen any of my surveys that I've posted in Memos to All Staff, or that sort of thing, this is where you do it. I might get into some of those details later, but I want to show you this in particular. Here's where Google Docs is really powerful, especially for collaboration with students. If I decide I want to share this document, I click on Share. And let's say I'm a student and I want to share it with another student. Anybody I can share it with, well, you can see actually, private. I can share it publicly on the web with anyone with the link, anyone within the Huntington Park school domain, anyone within the Huntington Park school domain who has the link, but not those who don't have the link, or I can have it private, or I can share it with a specific person. I've got a bogus profile set up as a sample student, so I'm going to share it with sample student, and I can decide what level of permissions I want to give sample student. Maybe the sample student can only view it, can only comment on it, or I'm going to give sample student editing permissions. I can choose to send him or her an email to let them know that it's there, or not. I'm going to choose not because I've got sample student set up here on my other screen. So share and save, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I've now shared it with sample student. So as I log in here on my other screen here as sample student, so the other student logs in. Now you can do this in real time, as you'll see. Uh-oh. So, sorry, I had to fudge this a little bit, but I'm back in the room. So I've now shared this with another editor, which turns out to be myself, and it'll be easy enough to follow along. So I can make changes to this document. Blah, blah, blah. And then another editor on another screen can say, but wait, I have an idea. And notice the little green flag that pops up here identifies who the person is that's typing. Okay, so then the next person says, we could do this. And then I continue typing document and so forth. Now you'll notice up here, we've got one other viewer, me and Mr. Tondro. This is just me testing stuff, so ignore that. So we can exchange ideas here. You know, don't forget the ending. And then my co-creator can respond to it. Of course not. Okay, so I can actually carry on a conversation about the document. I don't need to have a conversation in the document. You can do this in real time, or somebody could log in later and make changes. So then I add the ending. I don't want to forget. It also keeps a revision history. File, see revision history. So if somebody vandalizes your document or goes and makes changes that you didn't like, I can actually go back and I can see who made what changes. And I can revert back to really any point in the document and get it back. That's kind of neat. And then finally, there's comments. So if somebody wants to leave a comment, how about doing this in French? I can make a comment, and then the next person could log in who's commenting on it and say, yeah, good idea. Unfortunately, they're both showing up as me because I use the same name for both of my accounts, but you get the idea there. So there's a comment. So now I can go in, select it, tools, translate document, translate it to French. And voila, as they say. No idea how good a translation that is, but you get the idea. You can see the power of this with peer evaluation, with collaboration, and all sorts of things, and it's dead easy to do. The controls are intuitive, and it's free, and we all have accounts, staff and students. Enjoy.